Well, a man from Long Island who is accused of poisoning his estranged wife was arraigned on murder charges today.
Prosecutors say he hid in his estranged wife's home in October and waited until she was alone before poisoning her with cyanide. Long Island reporter Stacey Sager was in court for today's arraignment. She's live in Mineola with more on this story. Stacey.
Well, Dave, he's an unemployed software engineer accused of using cyanide to poison his estranged wife. And today he was back here in court pleading not guilty, but a grand jury has now indicted him for second-degree murder. And prosecutors say there's evidence to prove this case.
This is one of the most horrifying cases I have ever seen in my career.
The Nassau County DA outlining the details of a murder here on Larch Drive in Herricks, a quiet street where prosecutors say 53-year-old Asif Qureshi committed the type of murder so horrific it doesn't seem real.
Basically, he seared her lungs. She took a breath and the cyanide and just burns your lungs.
They say Qureshi lay in wait here last October until his estranged wife, 46-year-old Alina Asif, had returned home alone after dropping their children at school. That's when he allegedly placed the cyanide on a rag and suffocated her. But today in court, there was no indication Qureshi would admit to that crime.
His statements were very self-serving. Couldn't be me. I was someplace else. That type of thing.
Mr. Qureshi is presumed innocent, and he has vigorously entered a plea of not guilty on all counts of the indictment.
As the family of Alina Asif agonized yet again, seeing him in person here at the courthouse. According to police, Qureshi stalked his estranged wife for months after she demanded a divorce. Sources telling Eyewitness News there were several prior reports of trouble here at the home, including one incident in which Qureshi allegedly threatened to force Asif to swallow bleach. Shortly after the murder in October, this was her brother.
She was a very beautiful human being and very hardworking. She didn't deserve this kind of death.
But today, the family simply too devastated to speak, as Qureshi is still held without bail on second-degree murder.
No.
So you decide to kill your wife because she wants a divorce. And just leave. What are we doing? But like they said, he is innocent until proven guilty.
Comments?
Nothing at all about this case?
No, thank you. Okay.
And those were the distraught parents of the victim in this case, Alina. She also had 3 children. Prosecutors do say there's evidence in this case, surveillance video showing Qureshi leaving the house after the murder. There's also physical evidence such as latex gloves and a bag that they believe was used the day of the murder. As this case moves forward in court. We're live in Mineola. I'm Stacey Sager, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Crazy situation. So they have some evidence. At the end of the day, just leave. There's no point. Why kill the mother of your children? Let's go over to this next video and see if they give us any more detail.
A man on Long Island is accused of poisoning his estranged wife to death moments after she dropped their children off at school. Today, that man faced a judge, and News 4's Paisy Chang is in Mineola with more.
53-year-old Asif Qureshi is accused of sneaking into his estranged wife's home, lying in wait for her to be alone, and then forcing a cyanide-laced rag into her mouth while he watched her die. Today, he pleaded not guilty to murdering her in front of his children and his in-laws. A family left court heartbroken today, declining to speak with reporters after their father pleaded not guilty to killing their mother. Defense attorney Stanley Rubin insisted the case will be decided in court, not in public.
It's not going to be tried on the sidewalk. It'll be tried in a courtroom where he is presumed to be innocent by operation of law.
Prosecutors say 53-year-old Asif Qureshi is charged with second-degree murder in the brutal killing of his estranged wife, 46-year-old Alina Asif.
I wonder why it's second degree, because as we know, first degree means you premeditated it. So I wonder why they're giving it second degree, because fatally poisoning somebody seems like first degree to me, but I might be wrong. So tell me if I'm misunderstanding something.
36 years of doing this, I have never heard of anything as horrific as this.
Prosecutors say Qureshi snuck into his family's home in October after his wife and children had left for school. He waited for Alina to return alone when he attacked.
He had some type of rag that had some type of, poison on it, and then had to drop cyanide right before he would put it over her mouth and hold it there for her to breathe in.
It was their 18-year-old daughter who called police to check the home when the school called her to ask why her younger sister had not been picked up. Police found Alina dead on her bed with red burns around her mouth. Before the murder, police say they had responded to the home for 5 domestic incidents.
Wow.
Qureshi was arrested once before, but no orders of protection were issued for Alina, despite police reports that she said he threatened to make her swallow bleach.
The facts of this case will emerge with the evidence as is presented by the district attorney, who has the burden of proof on the case.
Prosecutors say there are multiple surveillance videos that place Qureshi near the home the day of the murder. The victim's brother told News 4 in October,
She was a very beautiful human being and very hardworking. She didn't deserve this kind of death.
and despite their tumultuous history, police say Alina never changed the locks to their doors or the security codes to their alarms. Qureshi was not granted bail. His next court date is February 18th. In Mineola, Paisley Cheng, News.
Ladies, you have to remember, I'm going to say this, I've said this plenty of times before. If the man threatens to hit you, if he hits you, call the police and leave. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. Same thing for the men. There should be no abuse in a healthy relationship. And if you are being abused, talk to somebody about it and leave the relationship. Don't wait for it to get better. It's already gone too far. At least that's my opinion. But let's go over into the AI overview just to finish it up and see if they have any more information that we might have missed. So let's get over into that and see what we can find out. So as they said, on January 8th, a grand jury indicted the 53-year-old man for the murder of his killing of his estranged 46-year-old wife. The case has been described by prosecutor as one of the most horrific crimes in their history. So the incident happened on October 17th, 2025, when prosecutors alleged that he snuck into his ex-wife's home or estranged wife's home while she was dropping off their children at school. I'm going to say this again. Why are you killing the mother of your children? But he reportedly lay in wait for roughly an hour until she returned home alone. He allegedly accused of suffocating her by forcing a rag soaked in cyanide and sulfuric acid mixture both over her mouth and nose. The medical examiner determined that she died from asphyxiation caused by inhaling these chemical agents, which effectively seared her lungs. So her body was discovered later that afternoon by police during a wellness check, which was initiated when she failed to pick up her 7-year-old daughter from school. So like they said, we got surveillance footage and there's a history of domestic violence. He was arrested in October 23rd, 2025 in Queens. And then on January 8th, he pleaded not guilty to the second-degree murder charges and 2 counts of first-degree burglary. He is currently held without bond and is scheduled for his return to court, like they said, February 18th. It's a crazy situation, y'all. Absolutely crazy situation. But if they got evidence, he needs to be held. He needs to be behind bars for the rest of his life. How can you look your own children in the eye and say, and then, I guess, lie and say you didn't kill their mother when you really did? Yeah. Ladies, leave the relationship when you can. Leave the relationship. That's as simple as that. But she was trying to leave. She was trying to get a divorce, but there were several calls for domestic violence in the past. She should have left then. It's a tragic situation. We got to pray for the family. It's an awful thing that he did this. But ladies, please leave when you can. And just don't wait for it to be too late. Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. We will keep up with this to see what he gets charged with if he is found guilty. Overall, it's a tragic case. Tragic case. Now, like I said, like I always say, let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. All because she wanted a divorce. So he plotted to kill her with poison. Some people are crazy. Some people are crazy.